Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye receives red carpet reception in maiden visit to Nigeria.
President Bola Tinubu particular interest in cancer care was secret to bringing to his attention the negative statistic of cancer that we have in our country since 1960.
Third edition of IOC Regional Seminar on Cancer advocates increased efforts towards early detection and treatment. Nigeria begins process of harmonizing anti-doping policies as Senate acknowledges receipt of President's anti-doping bill. Good evening and welcome to the Network News on NTA. I am Jummai Yusuf. Hinkino John Adams is reading with me from Lagos tonight. We will also have one of our correspondents standing by tonight for ticking the boxes. Remember, you can watch this news broadcast live on our social media platforms displayed on your screen. This pestifly. We begin with President Bola Tinubu today, where he received the new president of Senegal, Bassirou Faye, on a courtesy visit. The Senegalese president arrived at the State House this afternoon on his first official visit to Nigeria since his inauguration. State House correspondent Musbau Wahab reports that upon arrival, the two leaders had a short bilateral talk, details of which are yet to be released as at the time of filing this report. The Nigerian president and chairman of ECOWAS, Authority of Heads of State and Government, was one of the African leaders who attended the swearing-in of the new president of the Francophone West African nation on April the 2nd. The Senegalese leader, who is the youngest president of the continent at the age of 44, had earlier paid similar visits to Mauritania, the Gambia, Guinea-Bissau and Cote d'Ivoire. Meanwhile, the president has promised to ensure that his administration unlocks the human and natural resource potential of Ogoni land, whilst safeguarding the environmental and economic security of Nigerian communities. President Tinubu made the comment in a meeting with the members of the Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers of Ogoni, River State, who visited him at the State House. State House correspondent Musbau Wahab reports.
We were the post that shut down oil operation in 1993.
1993 recorded many events that have shaped the history of Ogoni land. An upheaval that significantly halted oil exploration in the area, and months later, the renowned environmental rights activist Ken Saro-Wiwa and some other youths of the land died in the struggle. And now, over 3 decades later, Ogoni leaders have got a new resolve.
We have declared oil resumption in Ogoni open. We will give our support to the president.
This is a new thinking, apparently born out of determination not to miss out on the potential wave of developments coming under the current administration.
For 31 years, there has been no meaningful economic activity in our land. We felt that we should come on this SOS visit to Mr. President, asking him to come to Ogoni and save our soul.
But along with their desire to encourage resumption of oil and gas exploration in their area, they equally have some conditional requests, which include acceleration of a lingering cleanup of their environments and inclusion in the developmental process.
OML 11 is one of the largest, if not the main largest block in this country. And we have asked the president to unbond it. Ogoni has several fields. And by whatever name, break it down, allow Ogoni people to have their own field, and see how we can use that to better the life of our younger generation.
Now, they have brought all these demands to President Bola Tinubu. And from the president, a renewed assurance as he pointed to the need to be committed to uplifting the livelihoods of the Nigerian people, ensure a better country for the future generation, which he said must begin with healing the wounds of the past. He assured that the Ogoni cleanup program, which he inherited, will be pursued diligently and honorably. The the president expressed satisfaction that the Ogoni people are now committed to peace and stability.
I believe that if it is unbundled, the economic activities of the Ogoni people will pick up. That is to say, too, that people within Ogoni area, they will have something positive to do. So there's nothing wrong about that, as long as Mr. President gives approval to that request.
Ogoni land comprises Eleme, Kana, Gokana, and Thai local government areas in River State with several oil fields. From the State House, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
In the meantime, the leadership at the center is taking out time to explain how it will continue to take painful but necessary steps to reposition Nigeria in line with fiscal responsibility commitments and prudent management policies. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, confirms that Vice President Shettima gave the assurance during the 141st meeting of the National Economic Council. The Council, which deliberated on the general state of the economy, resolved to do more to improve the living situation of Nigerians across the country, especially by supporting the growth of micro, small and medium enterprises. Vice President Kashim Shettima urged council members to assess the administration's journey so far and acknowledge the impact of their decisions, noting that access to capital must be a central driver of the lives and livelihoods improvement target. He underscored the role of digital technology in the growth and sustainability of small businesses, tipping investment in digital and creative enterprises as a work in progress to upscale these businesses. On flooding, the Vice President called for proactive measures in tackling flooding this year, cautioning that incident reports of Nigeria's vulnerability to flooding in 2024 are such that it requires constant vigilance and preparedness. While speaking on the Human Capital Development Program launched by the immediate past administration, Vice President Shettima disclosed that the federal government is set to commence its implementation phase under the Council's dispensation, with the inauguration of the Steering Committee and Core Working Group. Now to parliamentary matters, the Senate has confirmed that it is in receipt of President Bola Tinubu's National Anti-Doping Bill and would soon commence work towards its passage. This will lead to the establishment of an anti-doping organization in compliance with International Anti-Doping Code. The President also forwarded to the Senate the 2024 statutory supplementary budget of the Federal Capital Territory Administration for the execution of some projects committed in the 2024 appropriation bill. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The National Anti-Doping Bill, the first read at the commencement of plenary, is a vital legislation that would enhance Nigeria's participation and securing of hosting rights for regional, continental and world sporting championships. The second communication from the President is the 2024 Supplementary Appropriation Bill for Infrastructure Development in the Federal Capital Territory.
Some critical projects were inadvertently omitted in the 2024 appropriation. The capital projects are a vital component of the performance of the FCT.
Senate has passed the bill seeking the establishment of the Northwest Development Commission following adoption of recommendations in the report submitted by the Committee on Special Duties. The bill for the establishment of the Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship in Bama, Borno State, sponsored by Senator Kakashe Hulawan, has passed second reading.
In essence, the proposed university, which focuses on agriculture and entrepreneurship, will provide a platform for youth to transform opportunities to business ventures.
So at the end of the day, we are going to have the much needed food sufficiency.
Also passed a second reading is the bill to establish the Health Infrastructure Development Agency to curb medical tourism, sponsored by Senator Osita Ungu.
The bill emphasizes the importance of rural healthcare access,
and outline strategies for addressing healthcare disparities in rural areas.
Medical tourism in this country has become a daily occurrence. And if there is an agency like this that can make Nigeria a tourism hub and tourism destination.
Senate, however, stepped down adoption of the report submitted by the Senate Committee on Power, which recommended suspension of implementation of electricity tariff increase due to legal constraints, as the matter is in court.
A federal high court in Kano has issued an order about this new tariff.
Issues converging in this report are many. We cannot be the judge here. We are to make law.
By next sitting, we can conclude the process after taking the advice of our legal department.
The committee had in the report also commended President Tinubu's metering initiative, which aims at bridging the 6.3 million national metering gap. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has also received a request from the President seeking approval for the refund of the sum of 24.6 billion naira to the governments of Kebbi and Nasarawa states to enable the federal government take over existing airports in the two states. The President also transmitted the National Anti-Doping Bill 2024 and the supplementary FCT budget for the consideration and approval of the House. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ikben reports.
A couple of messages. President Tinubu, in his letter to the House, requested approval for refund of 15.1 billion naira in promissory notes to the Kebbi state government to enable the federal government take over the Birnin Kebbi International Airport, as well as 9.5 billion naira to the Nasarawa state government for the newly constructed Nasarawa Cargo Airport, in line with constitutional provisions.
By the provisions of Item 3 of the second schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, aviation, including airports, safety of aircraft and carriage of passengers and goods by air fall under the exclusive legislative list. The import of these is that ownership, regulations, and control of airports in Nigeria are exclusive to the federal government.
The President also requested speedy passage of the National Anti-Doping Bill 2024 to create an independent anti-doping agency, a requirement for Nigeria to achieve compliance with global standards ahead of the Olympic Games. In a separate letter, President Tinubu asked the House to approve a supplementary budget for the Federal Capital Territory to cater for critical projects omitted from the 2024 appropriation. In other resolutions, lawmakers called for a probe of genetically modified crops, provision of critical public infrastructure, and funding of medical research institutions to combat public health diseases.
The committees on healthcare services and health institutions to investigate the state of medical research institutes in the country.
Urge the federal government to suspend the introduction of newly enhanced genetically modified crops until an investigation is completed and the findings are made public.
To urge the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to construct feeder roads in some selective villages wards in the Federal Constituency of Kaduna State.
We need to reconstruct the Ose River Bridge in our Federal Constituency of Edo State.
Provide for the establishment of Federal Medical Center Kafanchan, Kaduna State.
And the House Committee on Commerce was mandated to investigate daily hike in the prices of commodities and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
We'll take a break now. We will be back in a moment. You're welcome back, and now let's bring you up to speed with other news, as experts in the health sector are saying Africa must be intentional about ridding itself of the scourge of cancer before the year 2030. First, by uniting and mobilizing homegrown resources to promote early detection and treatment of the deadly disease. This is the consensus at the third edition of high-level regional seminar on cancer awareness program and advocacy for member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation held in Abuja. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
In this room are mothers of different nations who have the responsibility of promoting the health and well-being of their citizens using the platform of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The occasion is the third high-level seminar on promoting cancer awareness and advocacy programs for African member states of the OIC. The seminar, under the patronage of Nigeria's First Lady Tinubu, aims to share knowledge and mobilize resources towards rolling back the prevalence of cancer, particularly breast and cervical cancer among women. Nigeria's First Lady says reversing grim statistics of cancer prevalence in the country in the last 5 years is a major priority, starting with mobilizing resources to promote early detection.
My office will continue to partner with all stakeholders to address the challenges of late presentation of cancer cases to health facilities across the country. We will leverage on the existing health infrastructure and other stakeholders, including local and international non-governmental organizations, to reverse the trend of cancer incidence in Nigeria.
The House will work with the First Lady to enact a National Cancer Act to reduce cancer mortality.
African countries must have equal access to the same opportunities as the rest of the world in the fight against cancer, including diagnosis, follow-up, and treatment.
We need to now take action. Action by Africans, action by ourselves, where we will deal with our problems. Let us unite in the mission to raise general healthcare awareness. Together we can do it.
To affirm their resolution, the First Ladies signed a declaration on cancer control. In Abuja, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, various speakers at the just concluded high-level regional seminar on promoting cancer prevention are insistent on the goal of deploying in-country approach in the prevention, treatment and cure for cancer. Basi Ita-Epan tells us more.
Predictions from the International Agency for Research on Cancer show the annual number of new cases of cancer in Africa will grow to more than 1 million in the next 5 years, leading to immense loss of human life and economic setbacks. Of concern, experts say, is the fact that most African nations are far from adequately scaling up their capacity to control cancer. To change this narrative, scale up cancer prevention, and protect the life of people living with the disease is what the seminar seeks to achieve.
Despite the dire cancer situation in our region, progress has been made, with 17 countries having introduced high-performance-based screening tests in line with WHO recommendations.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, while commending the First Lady on her efforts, says the event shows the commitment of the present administration to eliminating cancer.
Financial barriers, such as the high cost of treatment and lack of health insurance, exacerbate the situation, leaving many unable to afford necessary care.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's particular interest in cancer care was secret to bringing to his attention the negative statistic of cancer that we have in our country since 1960. And these bad indicators have never been reversed by our previous successive government.
Other speakers agree that there is no reason for anybody to die of preventable cancer on the continent and committed to strengthening collaboration to end the scourge. Basi Taikman, NTA News.
And tonight on Ticking the Boxes, we'll be gauging the political and public image roles of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. We're being joined by our State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo for an assessment of the First Lady's interventions in some critical areas of national development. Now, Adeni, we know the role of the First Lady varies from country to country, and her influence is conditioned by many variables, including the style of leadership of the government in power. Now, why don't you take us through the targets on the screen and tick the options that apply to each target?
Thank you, Jummai. Of course, the target here, the first one is girl-child education. We know that there are so many gaps when we talk about girl-child education in Nigeria. But in the last 1 year, the First Lady and her interventions have been positioned to address these gaps. We can talk about the introduction, or shall we say reintroduction of the alternative high school for girls, by the First Lady to actually encourage, girls who have lost, opportunity to go to school to come back to school with a lot of incentives. So that is on. And the fact that it's in Bauchi, it's in Lagos, and of course it's starting in Osun, and it is going around the country, shows that this is being taken serious. And for me, girl child education is actually on course. Now, going to the second one, which is women empowerment. There are so many things to be said about this. We can start by talking about our intervention with Women Agricultural Support Program, which is providing a lot of incentives for women who are interested in agriculture to go back to farm. Giving them 500,000, training with NALDA and all that. It's done a lot, and it has gone around the country. So in this regard, women are being empowered. Of course, our intervention with NITDA, training for women on ICT. She started with 43, and this will be repeated across the country next year. So we expect that is also on course. More women are being empowered. So for me, women empowerment, is also on course. The last one, social inclusion. There too, we've seen a lot of intervention by the First Lady. We've seen her go around, around zones where she's giving money, calling it business recapitalization, given to people living with disabilities for them to, start business or recapitalize their existing businesses. And of course, we can also talk about the food outreach program, which, with that, she's gone around the country to taking food to IDP camps, and of course to people living with disabilities to bring them on board. And that also includes what she's doing with the aged across the country. So for me, our intervention with social inclusion, I would say is also on course. That's it, Jummai.
From every indication, I can see that there's so much for women in store with the First Lady. Thank you so much, Adeni.
It's my pleasure.
Well, moving on, meanwhile, a strategic dialogue on the achievements of the Tinubu administration's renewed hope agenda in the first year in office is expected to come up tomorrow, Friday, May 17th. Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, said the dialogue is expected to deliberate on how to advance the gains made in the first year, symbolizing collective effort in transforming the country's prosperous destination.
The high-level dialogue will provide a comprehensive analysis of the government's policy priorities and the delivery mechanisms that have been instrumental in translating the President's vision into tangible results. This introspective analysis will enable us to celebrate our successes, learn from our challenges, and refine our strategies moving forward.
Strategic international partnerships are the bedrock of our approach to unlocking capital, harnessing global experience and expertise. We aim to explore opportunities across multiple sectors, leveraging the strengths of our international partners to drive the delivery of the renewed hope agenda.
A keynote address on delivering the renewed hope agenda through enhanced international cooperation, opportunities and challenges will be delivered by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, has inaugurated the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC 97.3 FM station. The minister promised to encourage other relevant public sector agencies to do the same and contribute to the task of informing, enlightening and sensitizing the public. Sani Ogwanara reports.
Prevention, they say, is better than cure, rather than using the eagle eye in search of economic and financial criminals. 97.3 FM station is hitting the Nigerian airwaves as a step to boost sensitization.
For us in the FCC, owning a radio station is not just a status symbol, but an important organ of mobilization against graft. Communication offers us stronger weapons for breaking half-truths, lies, propaganda, insinuations, and other distortions of the works that we do.
anti-corruption fight is a war, and we do not expect that the other side will sit back without fighting too. Today, there is so much misinformation and distortion of facts, especially on the social media, all in efforts to fight back.
It is indeed very important for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to be deliberate and strategic about shaping the narratives around the all-important war being waged against corruption in our country. Rest assured that the Ministry of Information and National Orientation will do everything within its power to support you achieve your goals and objectives.
Stakeholders described the gesture as timely, with the capacity to boost the Commission's communication agenda. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
The Nigerian Society of Engineers has conferred 63 certified engineers with the fellowship of the Institute of Engineers, urging them to be committed in promoting the profession and embracing innovations. Omeka Amarachuku reports that the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Felix Omotadola Okbe, was among those inducted into the fellowship.
The conferment of fellowship of the Institute of Engineers on the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Felix Ogbe, an experienced, trained and certified engineer with master's degree in civil engineering and construction, is a demonstration of the saying, "Whom the cap fits, let him wear." With over 38 years of experience in oil and gas operations in Nigeria. President and Chairman in Council of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Margaret Oguntola, reminded the fellows of NSCE of good ambassadorial role expected of them.
The world is evolving at an unprecedented pace, driven by technological advancements and societal changes. As engineers, it is our collective responsibility to adapt to these changes, to embrace innovation, and to continue to push the boundaries of what is possible.
This accolade represents the pinnacle of achievement for any practicing engineer in Nigeria.
Conferment of fellowship, the organizers say, is an opportunity to render greater service to the Nigerian Society of Engineers, as well as provide mentorship to the younger engineers. In Abuja, Omeka Amarachuku, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force has provided free Medicare to hundreds of people in Bauchi State as part of activities marking its 60th anniversary. Muazu Hassan reports that the free medical outreach offered services on diabetes and hypertension.
This is a timely military support that touches the heart of many people, especially those that are lacking the financial means to take care of their health conditions.
In Bauchi here, this is our first experience from the Air Force.
This economy meltdown, how many people will go to the hospital? And this drug you are seeing, how many people will afford it? We appreciate them.
Appreciate what the Nigerian Air Force did, especially making it in Bauchi.
The health services provided are medical screening, consultation and treatment for common illness.
People in the rural area, especially very close to our base, have benefited over the years. The people within Bauchi town, they too have challenges. So why not bring it to them and solve some of the problems they have? Screening for hypertension, malaria, diabetes, free eye tests, dental services. These are some of the ailments that are very common in the society.
The one-day medical outreach was also conducted for pregnant and nursing mothers, malaria treatment to women and children, as well as patients suffering from various eye and dental problems, while mosquito nets were distributed at the end of the exercise. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
We'll take a pause here as we join Hingino in our Lagos studio for more on Network News. Hello, Hingino.
Jummai, and welcome to Lagos. Nigerian Breweries PLC is set to produce another outstanding Multina Teacher of the Year for 2024. The award, courtesy of Felix Ohiwere Trust Foundation, is to recognize and appreciate the unwavering commitment of teachers across the country. Lynn Leneke, who witnessed the flag off of the 10th edition, which commenced on 16th of May 2024, reports that organizers revealed an upgrade of cash prizes of all the winning categories.
Is important to a country's growth and development, and ensuring teachers inculcate the right morals in their students by motivating them cannot be overlooked. This, the Nigerian Breweries PLC has been doing, as 9 outstanding teachers over the years have been rewarded.
We are inspiring excellence in teaching because our teachers are going on to do several massive things. 4 partners who've already confirmed and more coming.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Breweries PLC, represented, said the significant contribution of teachers in the development of education has not gone unnoticed.
We have celebrated great teachers, teachers who incite intellectual curiosity in students, teachers who inspire, who motivate, who encourage and ignite the habit of self-learning.
Recognizing the pivotal role of human and national development, the management of the Nigerian Breweries says the positive impact in the education sector is unquantified.
We took the decision to upgrade the winning prize for the Multina Teacher of the Year champion from 6.5 million naira to 10 million naira in celebration of the 10th year edition we will be recording this year.
The mobilization capacity and the mentoring aspect of our teachers, that has actually brought a lot of publicity for our activities.
To participate, applicants need to visit www.multinateacheroftheyear.com for all registration and application details. Application opens on May 16th and closes in July 19th. In Lagos, Lane Lenake.
Seplat Energy PLC, one of the leading companies in oil and gas business, has held its 11th annual general meeting with a declaration of 3 cents as dividend for a unit of share held by shareholders as at the end of 2023 financial year. Bolaji Akim reports that the AGM was held virtually at Seplat office in Ikoyi, Lagos.
Addressing shareholders virtually, the board chairman, Udoma, explained that Seplat Energy performance in 2023, as presented in the annual report, is an evidence of the board and management's commitment to sustain the leadership legacy which the company is known for, adding that a special dividend of 3 cents was also declared for every unit of share for the year under review. In their separate contributions virtually, shareholders commended the performance and doggedness of the management team for a job well done, despite the unfavorable economic situation experienced in 2023. Speaking with journalists after the virtual AGM, management of Seplat Energy revealed that the company in the year 2024 plans to surpass the 2023 records in its operation.
We are committed to a lot of initiatives that will help in terms of better results for Seplat and better returns to all our stakeholders.
We're also bringing on stream another gas plant in the west at Sapele, and when we bring that on this year, we will have 850 million scuffs of gas processing, so just short of a BCF a day.
With a strong corporate social responsibility policy, Seplat Energy is doing everything to improve the living standards of people.
We had a number of other health interventions and education interventions within our areas of operation. Teachers empowerment program, I Can See program, we continue to drive that across.
The company also restated its commitment to the climate change and environmental friendly agenda of the federal government. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. The news continues after this break.
You're watching NTA Network News. The commencement of the recapitalization of banks in the country has necessitated promoting stability in the financial system for safe, sound and efficient banking where depositors' funds are secure. This formed basis of discussions at a sensitization seminar by the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation in collaboration with the National Judicial Institute for Federal High Court Judges held in Lagos. Amaka O reports.
The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) is saddled with the mandate of ensuring the protection of depositors' funds, especially in the face of distress and liquidation of banks.
And the court is given power to...
This forum, therefore, is to keep the judges in tune with the practices of the NDIC, especially those at the court of the first instance, as understanding of legal issues in the face of bank disputes will fast-track dealing with cases expeditiously.
Last year, we applied to the court to obtain winding up order in respect of 183 banks whose licenses were revoked by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And to date, in less than a year, we have already obtained a judgment on 96, which is a complete departure from what we used to experience in the past.
In matters that have to do with financial system stability, the courts are very, very proactive. Many of these cases will be given a fast-track treatment, particularly when it has to do with the banking consolidation system.
Building strong depositors' confidence in banks and other financial institutions through adjudication of disputes, which is a theme for the 2024 Sensitization Seminar, is apt.
The main reason for granting the Federal High Court these special powers for recovery of debts of failed banks is for the Federal High Court to conduct proceedings in such a manner as to avoid undue delay.
The regulators must have to be up and doing, checking their books to ensure that depositors are not allowed to go on a suicide mission by keeping their money with the banks.
The primary goal of the NDIC is depositors' funds, to make sure that depositors' funds are secured.
It is believed that with the requisite knowledge, pronouncement on these issues will invariably set judicial precedents, thereby contributing to the development in bank laws and practice in Nigeria. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is advocating collaboration between the federal and state governments in ensuring industrial growth and rejuvenation of the nation's economy. The president made the advocacy in Lafia at the second edition of Nasarawa Investment Summit. Aliu Tijani reports that the president was represented by the Minister of Trade and Investment, Doris Anete.
It is the second edition of the Investment Summit, organized by the Nasarawa State Government to showcase economic potential of the state to investors with particular focus on agriculture, solid minerals and oil. President Bola Tinubu joined other captains of industries to re-echo the need for Nigeria to explore potential at state levels for accelerated development. Minister of Trade and Investment, Doris Anete, commended the state government vision to make Nasarawa an investment destination.
Initiatives like this investment summit are pivotal in showcasing the vast opportunities awaiting investors across all sectors of the Nigerian economy.
The summit will further expand our existing pathways to leverage on the industrial, agricultural, and mining sectors towards enhancing inclusive and sustainable wealth creation and economic prosperity.
Joining visually from New York, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, commended the state government for the summit, describing it as a platform to share experiences, ideas, and business opportunities that the state can leverage. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
We'll take another break and go away. Rwandan President Paul Kagame on Thursday issued a rallying call to African businesses and political leaders to work closely, noting that the more the continent is united, the more productive its engagement with partners will become. The president was speaking at the opening ceremony of the 2024 Africa CEO Forum in Kigali. From Apani has details of this and more on Global Update.
Kagame said, and I quote, "Integration for Africa's business community is an opportunity to grow our markets and become more competitive. Africa does not have to ask for a seat at the table." End of quote.
Whether it is in a business, politics, or civil society, anything that can be done anywhere in this world can also be done in Africa.
More than 1,000 chief executive officers, 75 presidents, ministers, a host of investors, and about 200 journalists from 73 countries converge on Kigali, Rwanda for the African CEO Forum. In other news, Chinese leader Xi Jinping said he and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have agreed on the need for a political solution to the war in Ukraine at the end of talks between two presidents in Beijing. Russian President Vladimir Putin said his country is grateful to their Chinese friends and colleagues for the initiatives they are putting forward to resolve Ukraine crisis. Reports said this is President Putin's first trip abroad since his March re-election. And Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, who was shot by an assailant yesterday, has stabilized but still very serious. The attack, which has been condemned around the world, stoked fear over political polarization or even further violence just before European Parliament elections. Frama Pani, NTA News.
And Bright Ebucho is our guide on sports updates. President Bola Tinubu extends his deepest condolences to the family of the late Deputy Chief of Staff to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Mr. Boyega Soyonwo. Describing his passing as deeply agonizing, the president condoles with Governor Sanwo-Olu and his cabinet over this excruciating loss, noting that the unallowed bond between the governor and the deceased shared. The president urges the family of the beloved Deputy Chief of Staff to take solace in his legacy and assures them of his real prayers and support in this moment of grief. President Tinubu prays to God Almighty to grant repose to the soul of the departed. And that's Network News for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. On behalf of the crew, I am Jummai Yusuf. Good night.